Hi. It's Mrs. Stitches or Sheila. This is my Flosstube number 86. And today's date is February 20th, 2025. Welcome, everybody. So, February's coming down to near end. Wow. We have just gotten through, we didn't go on a road trip. We might go today, just a short one. The weather, it was the weather. It has been cold here and windy. We had, since I've talked to you last, I think we've had 2 storms come through. And I think last time I filmed, it was freezing rain. And then after the freezing rain, there was really high winds. And then we had a little break, a short break, and then we had some more just mess. It was a little bit of snow, then a little bit of freezing rain, then some rain, and then some cold and winds, and we've had ice everywhere. A lot of places, a lot of people are kind of a little bit homebound. So, looking online on road reports, a lot of the roads around where people were warned not to actually drive on them. So we've just been cautious. And so I think the roads are pretty good now. We have some more snow coming tomorrow. Hopefully we won't have any more of that freezing rain. I do not like freezing rain. And it's really weird when it kind of like the temperature jumps up and then it goes down. It's kind of funny on my temperature chart. We got up to +6, and 2 days in a row it says +6 when it actually was really, really cold days. It just happened to probably at midnight get up to +6, and it was cold both other sides. So I know that Karen, the stitching owl, she just does the temperature like at midday at noon. And I think that's probably smarter because it really, the high temperature isn't reflecting what we're experiencing. Doesn't really matter. It's just nobody's using it as data anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I am going to start off with the last week's giveaway. So I had some entries, and let's see. Let's count them out. I haven't counted them out. I got 1, 2, well, that looks like the same name. No, they're 2 very close names. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 entries. Okay, so this is for Modern Folk Embroidery Mary Harry. I got this from Evertotes, as it was their first September kind of packaging up. So when I got it, I had the Roxy Flossco, a bag, a needle minder, fabric, and the kit. They're kind of expensive. I'm not going to do those anymore, but that's just me. They're kind of neat to get the whole thing. So this is called for with Roxy Flossco. Whoever wins this, if you can either have the Roxy Flossco or substitute your own. You don't need the fancy floss because the variegation really doesn't show up at all. So you could easily substitute just regular. Do you see colors? And it's because it's a sample, you really could do anything. So we are going to spell out Harry. Harry. Let's see who we got. Stitching Jerry. Hi. I don't know if you've won recently. She's a long-time viewer and commenter. So I will check my emails and see if I got your address. There we go, Stitching Jerry. It's funny. I see the comments, and I see long-time viewers, and I also see new people commenting, and I actually kind of rooting for the new people just because, like, oh, you commented. But then it's also happy when somebody who has commented a lot all the time, which is great. We've actually our Facebook friends too. She's a friend, so I'm happy for her. So that's great, Stitching Jerry. Someday I'll meet you. There's a couple of people that are my Flosstube friends that I'd like to meet that are in Canada, in the vicinity, sort of. Not really, but anyways. So that's the draw. I'm going to take a break just this week, and I'll probably do it every other week. I think that'll work. We'll see. So what have I been stitching on? So I got my list right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Been working on 5 whips. I have actually worked on the Haid Sal a bit, but I'm not going to show you just because I didn't bring it up and I didn't get that much done on it. So 5 whips. I got 1 new start and I got 2 FFOs. So let's just start with my pile that's next to me in just that order. So if you recall, last time I finished Bird Nerd and I was gonna then substitute for Bird Nerd. I still had 1,000 stitches to do. So I decided to put those in on Riley Harbor. And so Riley Harbor is by Kathy Barrick. It is available on Etsy. That's where I got it. And this is a Kaylee fabric. I think it's called something like Cumulus or Nimbus or something. It is a gorgeous fabric. Kaylee, I'm loving your fabrics. So this is my 1,000 stitches on Riley Harbor. So I finished off this house. And I don't know if you recall, a long time ago, I actually screwed up. This window was supposed to be over 1 more stitch, so they were actually centered. I think it looks fine. Just winging it. So it looks great. And then I came over and started this house and that horse there. So it's funny that window looks cockeyed. It's not, though. It's just the way the fabric is. So there you go. That's my Riley Harbor with 1,000 stitches in. So it has now taken place of Bird Nerd in the draw. And I'm happy with that decision. Okay. And I kind of love the Riley Harbor, so that's great. Next, do I have it here? I do. So I have my 12 by 12s and I have my whips. So this is a whip that I'm going to just pause you for a second and get something. Okay, so what I was doing was I was just getting this. Oh, a little bit glare. This was where I was at with my Paint with Stitches Sal. This is a 2022 Sal. And I worked on this and I put my 2,025 stitches in it. And I'll just show you how far I got. I'm pretty happy with it. Look at that. So I finished off. There was just a tiny bit down here. So all this black here and the black here. I think this tail is now fully done. I know it doesn't look like, but it does. And it turns out I had to ask. This is a mandarin duck, I believe. And then, so like I said, this is the tail feathers or the tail part of the duck. It is on water, and then this is just part of its probably wings going up, and then the body, and then the head's going to be up there. So that was 2,025 stitches on it. I enjoyed it. It was great. And once again, when you don't touch them for some time. Oh, and one of the keys to this is because I picked this on a 14 count Aida, and when we were on one of our thrift store shopping sprees, I found these. They're like a sewing needle, but they got a good size head. Oops, where's the camera? You can't see, but it's a very sharp point. And so what I ended up doing was, because there's half stitches and it's Aida, and I was having a hard time poking through, this worked brilliantly. It made it so much easier. So I actually work with 2 needles. On my needle minder, I had my regular needle, my embroidery needle, and then this one. And so if there were half stitches, I just switched out. The head on this is real easy to thread, so it was no big deal. So that worked. That made life easier. The other thing is this is not kitted up. So I was struggling to go find threads, go find ones. Now, Next width I'm going to work on, I'm going to show you right now. So actually a lot of it, I had its box with me because a lot of it's another paint with Stitch to Sell. Their colors were similar, some of them. So it actually, because it's fully kitted up, I could go into it. I will wait and no, I will show you now. Just as easy. So like I said, it's another paint with stitches. It is called Salty Day at the Rock. It is from a photograph she took in Newfoundland. And so it's kind of interesting because I have a long ways to go. I'm supposed to be test stitching this and I am so far behind. I am so sorry. So sorry, Chantel. But so it's going to be a big rock and then waves crashing up in some of the ocean. And she keeps saying she'll, when I finish it, she'll paint the background for me, but I'm still a ways away from finishing it. So there is my starting point for Salty Day at the Rock. For a while there, I called it Salty Day on the Rocks because I thought that was kind of funny with a martini and a salted rim, but it's really a margarita that has a salty rim. So I just go with what it's actually called. It's Salty Day at the Rock. She has two versions. She has one that's a big one, then she made a smaller one. And she said I could switch, but I'd already started with this. So I'm going to carry on with this. So anyways, for that we'll get 2,025 stitches. Okay, now back to my 12 by 12s. So let's see what's next. I'm going to, okay, next is the New Brunswick flag. So I'm just going to pause again and show you where I was at. Okay, so this is where I was at with my New Brunswick Quaker flag. So how far did I get? Well, I did 2,025 stitches. And I am loving this. It's pretty quick stitching. Wrangle, wrangle, wrangle. So there we go. So what I worked on, you can see his face. You can see his face. Isn't that awesome? So obviously I worked more on his arm coming down here and his face and kind of just working my way across. But isn't that amazing? Oh, it's so cool. His body stretched out all the way along. So I'm going to go all the way across. So, loving that. Loving that. I think he's really cool. And then I worked on that there, my lone wolf. And I'm going to just get the before picture for that. I think this is working. I think this is my big plan. So this is where I was at with Lone Wolf. This is Stitching Jewels Designs. So you can see trees and a mountain. So I went further down in the tree and I started the wolf's ear. I wanted to do a bit of the wolf. I got a hanging thread, so excuse that. But when my 2,025 stitches are done, I've just finished. So I went down a bit more in the tree and I think I did over here, this sort of stuff, which I think is part of the wolf's fur. And what's really neat on this is the way she's done this, like there's a tree in the front and that's trees in the background, but the ones in front are more dense. Anything that's closer, and then I did his ear up there. So this will come down and connect. This is just sort of the outside of the wolf. But there you go. That's awesome. Okay. Happy with that. Okay, what else? Okay, so that's the end of, I think, my laptop, my Chromebook. We had one snow day, so I have Arctic animals to show you. I'm not going to show you where I was at on that just because, but I will explain what I did. And, oh, we got another hanging thread. I wonder where my needle is. I don't see the needle. Okay, that's a little worrisome. Not happy about that. Okay, so sorry, the needle's on the hanging thread. Found the needle, that's good. Okay, so what did I do? Let's just move this over. Let's make this a little bit better, because that's very, I'm gonna move you right over here. A little bit out of the way. Okay, there we go. So I put in the word, and that is Scots Gaelic for puffin, and it is pronounced puhich, puhich. And then I put in, there is no word for, I think it's Arctic hare, and I finished off the Arctic hare. So there was hare. So hare is, I believe, like Gerach. And then I made him, I was going to do and schneck, which is like snow. And then I decided to do, I started Anne and realized schneck wasn't going to fit. So then I did gel, yeel, which is white. So it's made up word. So I finished off the Arctic hare. I don't know if I did any there, but I put in the words. I didn't count that. And then I started on this house. I have an error up here, so I'm trying to work that way to finish up here to make it a little bit. I believe what happened was I just did one extra row somewhere over here, but I think it's all going to work. So I'm just trying to figure that out. It's when there's motifs, you can kind of fudge a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. Be a bit challenging up there, but it's all just fun. Okay. So then I had some FFOs. They were my FFO Fridays. Oh, I have a needle minder stuck to, oh, there, I got it unstuck. Okay. So my FFOs, unfortunately I didn't iron this before I put it together. So there is a crease going along the center, but this was one of my FFOs. So coffee, please. I did this last year. This is obviously embroidery, not cross stitching. It was a kit I had gotten off a freebie table. And so that I think it's pretty cute. So I just did in a hoop and then just cinched up the fabric behind. I might still put a felt on to make it lie flat. We have a little coffee station in our kitchen, so this is hanging over the coffee station. So I thought it was kind of fun. And then I did this one too. This one is, I love these hoops. I got this at the thrift store for 50 cents, which was a great deal. And it's just so taut. It just really cinched it up. And then again, I cinched the back. Again, I want to put felt over top of it just so it lies a bit flatter. That's just going to take, so that might be this week's project. But anyways, I stitched this last year, about this time last year, when I was sort of helping out my mom after her hip surgery. So this one was stitched all with memories of her telling me stories. So that was great. So there you go, spring. Still feels ways away. And then I have temperature stitching daily. This is Stitching Mommy's specialty chart. So there you go. Those are Jessica stitches. They're looking great. So I just hang my threads again because I don't want to start and end, and I like doing it every single day. It's just my little routine. First thing in the morning, I look up the temperature and stitch it. So there you go. That's awesome. And then I had a new start. Husband's birthday yesterday, and any excuse to have a new start. His birthday, why not? So because he has put up the 2 Year in the Woods that I have done, I decided to do another Year in the Wood one. So, or start another Year in the Wood one. So we're feeling very Canadian with the political situation. And so I thought the beaver would be really great. I gave him a Canadian flag for his birthday present just to celebrate Canada. And we've been trying to buy all Canadian as much as we can. But there you go. That's a beaver from the Year in Woods of Cottage Garden Samplings. And I just started this last night. And that's how far I've gotten. So very happy with that. So I'm probably going to carry on with this a little bit more. But I'm going to draw today, so I'll have my new things to work on. So I'm going to only draw, I think I'm going to stick with 2 of my 12 by 12s a week. I'm just going to do 2 a week. No, I'm going to carry on with drawing 6, but I'll only work on 2 a week. So we're just going to keep it as it's going because I want to give, the more I draw, the more chance I have of not just repeating things. So, okay. So I have all my 12 by 12s in here. I'm going to draw 6. You will see all 6. You will probably see the ones I don't do. They'll be repeating the next couple weeks, but we'll see. I will do them in order. So there's one. First one, Winter Village. Had that last week. We still have, I think, 3 or 4 that I haven't picked yet. I'm going to stop stirring up so much. Hyrule, that was one we haven't had yet. That worked. That gets me excited. English Village, that was in one of the first weeks, so that's nice to see again. BC flag. Seem to always get the flags. I don't mind. Get more progress done. Peridot and the bug, I think we still haven't had yet. 3 sleighs, that's a good one. What are we at now? We're at 5, I think. 1, 2, yeah, we're at 5. One more. Come on, Peridot or bug. Firefly. Firefly! Okay, that was fortuitous. Still haven't gotten Peridot yet. I'm missing colors on Peridot, so it's not too bad. Okay. Let's pause a second, and I'm going to show you, I will show you the first 3 because I think those will be all I'll get. I'll show you all 6. You got to see all 6, but okay. Okay, I got everything. So the first one is Winter Village, and it's a beautiful scene. This is by Cross Stitch Patterns X, which was on Etsy. It's where I got the bug series, and I picked this up too at the same time. So, and I had just worked on this last week, but it'd be great to put another 2,025 stitches in it. And then the next one I picked was Welcome to Hyrule. I can't remember that's all those Welcome to series. Not quite sure which way is up on this. I think I did a center start. I think it actually goes this way. I'm not sure though. So we'll put 2,025 stitches on this. Now I had a slight error where I know that the color I was using was an old one that didn't quite match the new one. The differences in here, I'm not going to worry about it, I don't think. So I'll just carry on with the new one. And it'll just be variation. And then I drew my English Village, which is unfortunately a ripoff, but I'm still going to use it because the real one costs too much. And this is the long and skinny one. There we go. So, and this is only half of the length. So it is super long. I think it is like 5 feet long. But that's where I'm starting on that one. I got to remember to hold these up for a bit because I'll be starting to use these as the before pictures. I might work down and fill in some of this, but I should work more on this house too. So we'll see where I go on that. And then my BC flag, which I last time did get this going all the way. So I'm working this one down as the New Brunswick is across. So you can see I am down to the bottom here. Right there is the bottom. So I will probably go back up again and then just come down again. So I'll probably get halfway down. We'll see how far we get. So I'll just pick the next Quaker there and then just come down. I think that's what I'll do. And then my Maud Lewis 3 Sleighs. I probably should have held up that other one closer, but there you go. Yeah, I like this one. So I'm doing this in the diagonal, obviously. It's limited colors, but it's great. So that'll be fun to get 2025 stitches in. This one's good because I actually can, because it's such block stitching, I can watch videos at the same time, kind of figure out where I'm going. And then, like I said, one Hyrule I hadn't picked yet, and Firefly, which is a bug from this cross stitch. I think this was actually the very first one I stitched in my 12 by 12. It was the very first one. So you cannot see, but there is some stitches out here. Yeah, you can barely see it. So this is sort of the center, I think, of his abdomen, and then it's going to be coming down, I think. So it'll be good to get 2025 stitches. This is only, I think, I want to say 6,000 stitches, so this will get a good chunk on it. So I'm happy about that. This obviously will be my next finish if it gets picked enough. And then I get another replacement, so we'll see what that'll be. Okay, there we go. That is my goal for the next at least 2 weeks, if not 3 weeks. So I have the Paint with Stitches the Paint with Stitches pattern of Salty Day at the Rock, which I will get done before our next Flosstube, and then see how many of these I can get done. And if I feel like a change, I work more on the beaver in the Year in the Woods. So that is my stitching. And yeah, so that's all for me, I believe. Oh, I should tell you a little bit of life updates. There ain't much to tell you. Like I said, I told you at the beginning, we've been pretty homebound. So we've gotten out a few times a little bit. Just kind of, at one point the ice was so bad, my husband went down to the beach and just grabbed sand and put sand on our ice at the end of the driveway. Our driveway's been pretty good compared to other people's because we're so exposed to the wind. But I tell you, it was rocking. One night we were supposed to get up to 120 km/h winds. I don't think we quite got that high, but the house actually rocks which is a good thing when it's that windy. So I was sleeping upstairs, and the only thing was there was this big, huge picture right above my head on the bed, and it actually, because the house is rocking, all the pictures on the wall kind of rattle away, and it's just like I could just envision it falling down and hitting me on the head, and there you be. But that didn't happen. So it's been stressful for my husband. We, with it being cold, so our winter winds are actually worse for us than hurricanes, because the winds are just as strong as the hurricanes. You don't know how long they're going to last. This was an extended wind storm. And because it's winter, I guess there's less leaves on the trees, so maybe there's a little less power outages. But if the power does go out, because it's cold, our heat is clicking on all the time. And so if it had gone out, the generator would have been running full on. And so we had gotten a jerry can full of gas just in case ahead of time, which was challenging because the roads weren't that great. So my husband was trying to find a little window to be able to get out there. Like at one point with the ice storms around the gas tank, it's just, they're skating rinks. They're just solid ice. It was crazy. So I haven't been out and about I did go for a walk yesterday. Like I said, with the wind, it also kind of wind blasts away some of the ice. So our driveway actually got pretty good yesterday, and the roads, the living right beside a highway, at least that gets cleared. And then some of the other roads, a grader came along and kind of chewed up some of the ice. So then we had some sunshine yesterday, so some did melt. But it's a winter. It's good. I'm enjoying the winter. Like I said, my husband is more stressed than I because he takes on a lot of responsibility. But we're probably gonna head out today. I probably should wrap this up so that we can get going. And yeah, and then I'll get stitching. So I will see you next week. Congratulations, Jerry, Stitching Jerry. Like I said, I'll check my email. If you haven't won before, just send me an email with your address. That makes it easier. And then next week we will draw a new one. I got a stack of them over here, and so I will just pick one and we'll see what we get. So take care, everybody. Happy stitching, and I shall see you in a week. Bye.